The next one that we were going to talk about is executive functioning and how that can help build those skills to take that next step. So the first one I want to go to is what are some key executive functioning skills?
I would say one skill would definitely be accountability and ownership. So, learning how to manage and maintain your daily schedule, um, completing chores or different tasks around the house without needing those reminders from parents or caregivers. And then also with accountability comes owning up to your mistakes. We all make mistakes. Own up to them. Another executive functioning skill is time management. So, organizing your calendar and your schedule day to day, week to week, setting alarms and reminders. I stress that one a lot in the launch program because we get very busy. So, whether you're cooking or you have a meeting to go to or wherever, whatever it is you need to do, set an alarm, so that it goes off 5 minutes before you need to leave or you need to hop onto a meeting or whatever the case may be. Like I said, life gets busy. We forget very easily. So setting those reminders, alarms, sticky notes, things like that. Boundaries, we talked about that a lot tonight. Boundaries is another one, setting boundaries for ourselves and making sure other people are respecting our boundaries as well as respecting other people's boundaries. And then another uh, key skill for executive functioning, I would say, is self-care. Often we neglect self-care in our lives. We also tend to think self-care costs money, and it does not. Self-care could be things from taking a bubble bath in peace and quiet to journaling our thoughts throughout the day. Talking to a friend about events going on in our lives, even exercising, taking a walk, things like that. That's all part of self-care. You got to kind of find what you enjoy doing and that what what works for you when it comes to kind of alleviating mental and physical stress in life.
Sarah kind of approached into some of these next two questions with that first one with some of the skills, but like with time management. And she mentioned like having a schedule and alarms and reminders and checklist. Those are all tools to kind of practice and harness in on when it comes to executive functioning. I'm one that if I take a break, I have to set an alarm because my 5 minute break will turn into a 10 minute break. My 10 minute break will turn into a 30 minute break, right? And so making these the norm, right? Um, when it comes to this, we're going to come down to how family members can support, and I'm going to kind of share what I want to do, but I'm going to let the team add. Is there anything else you would like to add when it comes to what are some strategies or tools you
So
recommend help with or help
I
personalize
was,
task?
I'm just gonna add, I know we talked about the calendar and things like that and the importance of it. And I know as like I put myself in back when I was in high school and my dad for Christmas one year got me like a planner. And I'm talking like leatherback with like all the dates and things like this, because that's what he used. And I was like, there is no way that I'm ever gonna use this thing. And I did not. It was not helpful for me whatsoever. But it was around that time that Google Calendars and Google was really kind of becoming a thing, right? And I found out that my phone and everything like that had where I could add alarms, I could add different things. So for me, it was, the writing it down wasn't helpful, but finding those tools and finding those things that did work for me. So it was that Google Calendar and it was helping me like organize it. And I never really even would have thought about that if my dad didn't give me that big, bulky planner thing.
I think, David, you
Oh,
hit that right. Perfect. I mean, you find what works
yeah.
for you. Just because it worked
So,
for your dad or your mom or your friend doesn't mean it's gonna work for you or for your young adult. Like you have to find what they connect with, and explore. Explore
mhm.
all the options. If one thing isn't working, try something new. Because I would say I could ask our whole panel is how we schedule our day and how we keep track of our schedule, and every one of us is going to give you a different answer.
If you're having a hard time remembering when was the last time you cleaned out your fridge, or when was the last time you like cleaned your bathroom or your bedroom, you've probably seen these in like, store bathrooms where they have like a list of like, oh, this was the last date that I cleaned something. Creating your own little thing can be really helpful because then you're like, you see it and you're like, oh, it's been a while since I've cleaned. I should probably do that. So that could be like a good visual way to just be like, to remember that, oh, I need to clean.
Yep.
Those type of reminders are very helpful.
And for the young adults, do it for you,
Mhm.
right? Create it, word it how you want it to be worded. Have it look how you want it to look. Put effort into how you want it to appear, even when it comes to like using a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar. I mean, I have people that, they like the dark feature of it, so it's all black and in neon colors, right? I can't do that because I get lost. I'm looking at like some kind of foreign language that I don't know, and it's just the different colors, and it doesn't work for me. But some people don't like the brightness, so really see what works best for you, and just keep trying it until you find something that you're comfortable with. How can a young adult practice self-awareness?
The one thing that I would say is we go over this so much in Next Ed that it is actually self-determination is a whole pillar. So we focus, 10 weeks on just kind of this topic, but I did want to talk about ways of what self-awareness is really knowing ourself, right? It is knowing who we are, it is knowing our values, our identity, it is understanding what's important to us. How we make decisions and things like that. So, how a young adult can kind of go around practicing self-awareness is starts with it. To me, it starts with our emotions. It starts with being able to name how am I feeling in the moment, and being able to internalize that. So again, we have those emotional wheels and things like that where, if you're feeling upset, maybe you can pinpoint what exactly is it just mad? Because mad is so broad. Is it more that you're annoyed with something? Is it more that something is bothering you? So really trying to practice first naming those emotions can help us grow and kind of put us in a perspective. And then I would say another way that I practice self-awareness, maybe it works for you, but write down the things that are important to you. Write down the things that you like. Write down the things you don't like. It can even be food. Maybe you're just like, I can't stand asparagus. Find those things. Find what is important to you. Find what is you. Find that piece of how would you want to introduce, if you could just introduce yourself and be like, I am John and I really like to swim and things like that. Like, how would you want someone to look at you? That's one way that I would say you can practice self-awareness.
I think to follow up with David on that one, self-awareness is, like I said, like David said, they focus 10 weeks on it, and it's a huge, and he's trying to like really narrow like a large topic, but knowing those emotions, but then like going on that, like talk about like how it feels, like how does it feel in your eyes? Do your eyes feel heavy? Do they feel watery? Because those are going to be things that you can physically feel that can connect with certain emotions to help guide that. And if you're not a writer, take pictures,
Mm,
video it, record your voice, color something, even if it's just you're picking a color that relates to how you're feeling that day or what's going on. But find some way to express it in your own creative way, and make it unique.
yeah, again, there is no right answer to this one, right? Again, because it is self-awareness. It is going to be how can you put it into practice? How can you engage with it? And no one's is going to be the same.
So, what are some ways that young adults can take more initiative in their lives? Um, and then I'm gonna put these ones together because I think this could be a combination question. We kind of separated it. but how can family members support young adults with taking more initiative? Um, so I'm going to start with this one and be one, uh, for the young adults, find those opportunities to be there while the person that usually does that task, you're there. You don't have to jump in right away, but see it, witness it, be a part of it. If it is cooking, cleaning, if it is setting up doctor's appointments, just be there. And for parents, encourage them to be there with you. Let them see it, but then also be patient with them when they are exploring it. My favorite one is like, yes, I do this personally, and had to go over, but loading the dishwasher, right? Let them load the dishwasher. Even if it is not the way that you would load the dishwasher, let them try it. But let them explore and find their own ways of doing it. And then go from there. If they didn't do it completely 100% correct, have that conversation with them. But first, just let them try it, explore it. Look at those times where you could take that safe risk for them to explore. And if I don't like the failure, but if it doesn't go as planned, then we can always learn from that opportunity. But be patient and be open with having that. And as a young adult, don't be afraid to have it not go as planned, because there's a lot of things in my life that I learned because it didn't go as planned. If everything went perfect, that's when you learn the most. So be patient and just be okay with things not going as planned.
I'll start out with the young adults. Taking more initiative. Don't wait for your parents to give you responsibilities or show you things. If you're unsure of how to do the laundry, observe your parent or caregiver doing loads of laundry, using that washing machine, using that dryer, folding and putting clothes away. If you're unfamiliar with cooking, get in the kitchen, do those observations, ask your parents those questions. Know that your parents are busy themselves, so they don't always have the time to break things down. So, ask those clarifying questions. How do you use the stove, the oven, the microwave, the air fryer, things like that. Also, pay attention when you're out of the grocery store, the gas station, wherever it may be. Pay attention to the cost and how much your parents are paying every week for groceries, for gas to fill up the car, even the bill at like the restaurant for outings and things like that. Parents, this one can be very tricky and very hard. I've worked with individuals at the St. Louis Arc for almost 4 years now. I was also a special education teacher for 10 years. So I've had many talks with parents on, letting their young adults take that initiative. Let them make their mistakes. That's how they're going to learn. Set those expectations with them and try to, avoid over parenting or, telling them exactly how to do things, like with JR said with the dishwasher. Let them kind of play around and figure out how to load the dishwasher, things like that. And definitely offer praise and recognition that you're seeing their growth. You're seeing them take initiative. You're seeing them learn those new skills.
Celebrate those little successes.
Definitely.
Goes a long way.